request that everybody take their seats, please. Good morning, community leaders and colleagues, and welcome to the spring edition of our Community Leadership Lunch. I'm Cecilia Walters, and I am an 8-year veteran of Arbor Memorial, serving as a licensed family services director in both cemetery and funeral pre-planning. Before we get started with all the welcoming, I tried my best to make you feel welcome outside. We'll continue with a little bit more, but first, a couple of housekeeping items. First of all, the facilities for ladies and gentlemen. As you exit the lounge, make a right. It's located on the right as you go down the passageway. Gentlemen first, then the ladies. So to recap, out of the lounge, right. And then cell phones, if everybody can please put their cell phones on, that reminds me, put your cell phone on whatever silent mode you prefer, as to not interrupt our presentations to come. I see a lot of familiar faces here around the room today, returning attendees. We have truly created a community of community leaders here, and we are delighted that in your busy schedules, you prioritized our event today. I also see a lot of new faces around the room, and it just shows how our little community here is growing. So now we're going to do that embarrassing thing that always happens at events. If you are a first-time attendee, raise your hand. Look at that. Welcome to the club. You would have noted that this lady over here raised her hand as well. I hope she did. There we go. She is Michelle Richards, and she's new to our Community Leadership Luncheon, which I will henceforth abbreviate to CLL. She is new to our CLL committee. She has also been with Arbor for 8 years, serving in the same role as me, serving families across the GTA. She's been based at different branches and joined Brampton as her home branch about 6 months ago. She is a pastor's wife, a mom, a grandmother, a social media content creator phenomenon, a networking expert. I left a lot of other things out because we are running out of time. And she's a community leader in her own right. And if you ask me, and I'm not saying it because all of you are here, I really mean it, she's one of the best and kindest colleagues you can ever dream to work with. We are eternally grateful that she heeded our pleas to join the CLL committee. And I would like to welcome Michelle Richards to the podium.
Wow, I feel like the pressure now. Thank you, Celia, for such kind and wonderful words for that introduction. And I am humbled to be a part of the Community Leadership Luncheon Committee. It is just amazing to meet all of you today. And let's just give Celia a hand. For her, pretty much most of your faces are new to me, but this luncheon is more than just having a meal or a conversation. This is an intentional gathering of leadership in our community that have been shaping the hearts and the lives of people in our community here. Our theme today is mindful leaders aligning thoughts with actions. And it is a reminder that leadership is more than just strategy or influence. It's about creating an awareness. It's about integrity. It's about conscious alignment with what we do and what we believe for each and every one of us. This community initiative it really resonates with me. You want to know why? Because every day I work with families. I work with families to ensure that their legacy and that their final wishes and their end of life is to their desire. And I know that in my career, I witnessed this every day. When we as leaders take the time to prepare ourselves to be ready for the emotional or the practical or the spiritual awareness, we are better equipped to serve others and leave behind a legacy of a genuine reality of knowing our values. This luncheon has created a platform, and I'm glad you're here because it is a platform to educate, to empower, and to equip our minds that we are ready to be able to help others within our own organizations and be prepared mentally and physically for that. Whether you're leading in ministries, because I do believe we have some pastors. Do we have some pastors here? Good. Do we have some healthcare workers, people working in the healthcare? We have teachers, and we have entrepreneurs as well. I've spoken to a few of you here, and it's good to see that we have entrepreneurs here as well. You care about growth, and you're here because you believe in building something stronger, not just for today, but for tomorrow as well. And I am so grateful to be on this journey with you. Today, we have a lot planned for you, and we're really excited. And right now, I'm going to call our assistant manager for the funeral home here, Onika, will come now to you. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you, Michelle. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Lovely to see all of you joining us here today. My name is Onika Boyce, Assistant Manager here at Brampton Funeral Home and Cemetery, and it's a privilege to introduce my mentor and today's guest speaker, Shannon Burbank. She brings a wealth of experience and passion to our field. Shannon is the Manager of Training, Facilitation, and Public Engagement at Harbor Memorial and has over 30 years of experience as a licensed funeral director. Now she dedicates her work to empowering professionals with the skills they need to thrive, focusing on aligning knowledge with strong organizational practices, enhancing the customer and employee experience. Shannon is a dynamic leader and a strong advocate for professional growth. She is also a champion of mindfulness in the workplace, recognizing its power to strengthen connection, resilience, and presence in the care we provide. Her commitment to meaningful connections, impactful training, and forward thinking is helping to shape the future of our industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to please join me in welcoming Shannon.
Well, good morning, everyone, and lovely to see all of you. What a great group. I heard there was a good turnout going to be here today, and I thank you all for being here. It is an absolute pleasure for me to be here speaking to all of you today. I have seen photographs and some of the details of your previous two sessions that Aaron and Michael so kindly shared to our entire company, and so I know that what you are doing as a community is both important, impactful, and I'm just so impressed with the community involvement and the passion amongst all of you. So thank you again for having me today. In my role, I have the opportunity to travel the country to all of our locations and provide training for the employees And through that, I have the opportunity to meet some very incredible people, and I know that I'm hoping to have some conversations with all of you today and meet all of you as well. Today I was asked to speak about mindful leadership and infuse some of my personal experience in that as well, and so that's what I'm going to do for you today. Now, I wanted to start, as I start my day every day, normally with my pajamas still on and with my cup of coffee in my living room, I start every day by reading in my daily reader. And this is One Mindful Day at a Time. It's 365 Meditations for Living in the Now, and it's by Alan Wolfeld. And ironically, for today's reading, it is very fitting. So I thought I would just save it and read it again for all of you. So it is never late to ask yourself, am I ready to change my life? Am I ready to change myself? However old we are, whatever we went through, it is always possible to be reborn. If each day is a copy of the last one, what a pity. Every breath is a chance to be reborn. But to be reborn into a new life, you have to die before dying. And that's a quote by Shams Tabrizi. When is the best time to launch a self-improvement project? Now. That's a trick question, of course, because we're conditioned to say Monday, or after our vacation, or January 1st. We've been culturally trained to believe that we have to allow time to psych ourselves up and get our procrastinating out of our systems. But that's not true. We can start really small, and we can start right now. Every day is a new chance. True. But what's more true is that every breath is a new chance. All we have to do is act. So I love that, and it couldn't be more perfect for our topic today, so I wanted to share that with all of you. So let's talk about what it means to be a mindful leader, and I found a definition, one of many I'm sure, but being a mindful leader means leading with intentional awareness, presence, and compassion. It's about being fully engaged in the moment, aware of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, and how they impact others. So here are a few key elements that define mindful leadership. First of all, we want to talk about self-awareness, and I know that all of you in the room have heard all of these 6 items that are listed here, I'm sure many times in different ways. I'm sure you've read many books, probably listened to podcasts and things where you're getting a lot of this information, but self-awareness is very, very important. Having an understanding of your own strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, and your emotional responses to those triggers, right? It's very important. It helps you to lead more authentically. Presence. Of course, you want to be fully present, right? Be present in that moment. Be present in conversations. And decision-making, right? Rather than being distracted or reactive, which is often what happens to many of us. Empathy and compassion. We know this well in our profession as funeral service professionals and cemetery professionals. We know that it's important that we tune in to others' experiences and their perspectives as well. And we want that to be with genuine care and understanding. That's the important key there, is that it's with genuine care and understanding. We want to be purpose-driven. And of course, making decisions that align with our values and our long-term goals, not just reacting to things that are happening in the moment. So not just those short-term goals. Emotional regulation, listen, I know this is tough sometimes, right? Staying calm. It's really tough, especially when you're under pressure, when you're responding to deadlines, but you'll want to respond instead of react whenever possible. And create that sense of calm for your entire team. You're the stability that they need. Clarity and focus, cutting through the noise, and prioritize what really matters, and helping others to do the same. So ultimately, mindful leadership, it isn't about being nice or chill or zen, it's a practical approach. It's leading with clarity, with intention, and humility. It builds trust, it boosts team morale, and it fosters better decision-making. So bringing mindful leadership into both your life and your work creates a really strong foundation for growth and resilience. And I do believe that resilience is key. We have all had negative experiences, things that have impacted our life. None of us are perfect. None of us get through this life unscathed. But those experiences that we have, the strength, the resilience, those are important. So here are some practical tips that you can start weaving into both areas. So we're going to start with our personal life. And you just heard how I start mine, still in my PJs with my coffee. And I do that so that I can wake up, but also be energized and start on the right foot, right? Some people don't drink coffee, they want to have herbal tea, they want to have just, really you should start with a nice glass of water. I usually do that before my coffee, but you know, start your day with some kind of mindfulness. And even 5 or 10 minutes just of meditation, of deep breathing, it can help it to anchor your awareness and reduce that reactivity that, you know, a lot of us wake up first thing in the morning, and I know I use my phone as my alarm clock, a lot of us do, but some people jump right into text messages, emails, social media, and you're filling your brain with a lot of information that you don't need to have first thing in the morning. Check in with yourself. This is so important. And I feel like the older I get, the more that I do this. And to be honest, I talk to myself, and I catch myself doing it a lot more. But, you know, regularly ask yourself, how am I feeling today? What do I need right now? The pause builds that self-awareness that we talked about earlier. And it allows you to really focus on your own self-care. So I'm interested to see, with a show of hands, how many of you have heard of the acronym HALT? And it's okay if you've never heard of it. Okay, this is fun, then I'm telling you something new today. So HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. Okay? And it's a tool that's used in recovery and mental health. And it's there to help individuals identify and address common stressors and triggers that can lead to unhealthy decisions or choices. And I use HALT. And it's very helpful because when you start to use this, you will recognize that sometimes you're just hungry. You're just tired. Right? Things aren't as bad as you think they are in that moment when you just kind of stop and recognize. You want to be intentional with your time, right? Setting boundaries. A lot of people think the word boundary is a negative thing, that it means it's a barrier, that you're closed off, and it's not. It means that you're respectful of yourself, that you're self-aware. So be present with your loved ones. Avoid multitasking whenever possible. So if you don't need to be multitasking, don't do that. For many years, and I'm still guilty of doing it, but for many years I prided myself on being an excellent multitasker. And in our particular profession, and when I was managing a funeral home, I thought that that was a great skill that I had. It was, in many ways. But sometimes we're multitasking when we don't need to. And we can be in a sense of overwhelm, and we don't recognize it. Personally, dinner has always been a sacred time for myself and my children. I've been divorced for many years and raised my children. They were full-time with me. So dinner was very important time. It was when we got to talk about our day, have a few laughs. And to be honest, my kids' friends, even from the time they were probably 9 or 10 years old, they loved having dinner at our house because we had conversations that apparently most families don't have. And so we covered all kinds of subjects, and I just really wanted to be open with my children and have them be comfortable coming to me with anything. And so that was an example for me of really being intentional with my time with my children. Practicing gratitude. Again, we hear this a lot, right? Have a gratitude journal and be thankful and think of the things that you're thankful for. You don't need to sit down and write out a list, right? But maybe in those moments when you can just pause, and when you are stressed or triggered, right? Think about something you're thankful for. Daily reflection on what you're thankful for does help shift your perspective, and it does help to reduce stress. Respond and don't react. This one's tough. I said it earlier, sometimes when emotions run high, you just need to take a breath. Mindful leaders pause before responding, and even in personal situations, they're able to do that. My children notice sometimes when I take a deep breath, and in fact, we were just on a vacation in the Dominican Republic together, and I did this at one point. And for them, sometimes they think it's a sigh of frustration, and I have to remind them that I'm just kind of resetting myself. You know, maybe my thoughts were running off in a tangent. I'm a hypervigilant overthinker, so sometimes I just need to, you know, and that exhale, you know, if you want to try it right now, if you really inhale and you actually make a sound when you exhale, it sounds like, you know, that you're sighing, or maybe you're frustrated, but you're not, right? And it does help you, just even if you do it just once. So you'll feel your shoulders relax, and like I said, if you want to give it a try, go for it. All right, so in our professional life, because we are talking about leaders, and lots of you in the room are leaders or entrepreneurs, again, beginning meetings with a pause, right? Just that moment of silence even. It sets the tone for presence, for clarity. Listen deeply. You don't want to just talk. I love to talk. But you need to make sure that you're really hearing your team and you're really listening. And this, again, builds trust and it strengthens communication. Leading with empathy, of course, you want to recognize others' challenges and meet people where they're at. That is so critical. Ask open-ended questions. Let people share. And support growth over perfection. I know that when I was managing the funeral home, there were times, and I was able, because I was self-aware, to recognize that my expectations of myself were way up here. So because they were so high for myself, of course, that trickled down to my team. And I had high expectations of others. But you always need to meet people where they're at. And remember that we all learn differently, right? And be kind to others. Aligning decisions with values. Be clear on your purpose. And let it guide how you make choices. Even under pressure, right? And that's when it's key. Even under pressure, you need to be clear on your purpose. Model balance. And I know that there are people that talk a lot about work-life balance, and some people will say, well, that doesn't even exist. I don't believe in that concept or theory. You can believe it or not, whichever works for you. It's not kind of the balance that I want you to think about right now, though. It's just modeling the balance where you're taking care of your own well-being, okay, and focusing on yourself. It gives permission for others to do the same. When they see you do that, right, they recognize it, and it does cultivate a healthier culture overall. So I only have 2 more slides to share with you, but I really like this one in particular. And this is a weekly mindful leadership plan that I just want you to consider, and some of you probably already do some version of this. We're going to look on the left-hand side first, and we're going to talk about daily practices. Okay? So maybe 10 to 20 minutes in total for the day, but starting in the morning. This is your personal time when you're still at home, when you haven't gone into the office yet, or if you work from home, you have not opened your laptop. 2 to 5 minutes of that mindfulness that we talked about. Breath work, meditation, or just sitting quietly. And I'll tell you, some people cannot sit quietly. Right? Absolutely, it's true. They just can't do it. Now, my children will say, you don't sit down long, Mom, like you're always needing to be busy, and I watched my 83-year-old mother do it the other day as well, so apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but I can now sit quietly with my own thoughts, and sometimes I just stare out the window for a few minutes, but it's important that you do that. Set an intention for how you want to show up for the day as well. You heard about my morning coffee. You know I have daily readers. I read to you from just one of them. I usually do some form of movement as well after I've sat and had a moment of mindfulness, whether that's stretching, could be a workout actually, or yoga. I turn on a diffuser in my kitchen every morning where I diffuse generally peppermint just to wake me up and spark the day. And there was a practice that I had as I was transitioning, since we're going to talk about moving into work, where when I drove to work, I would listen to, I'm a music fan, I would listen to upbeat music and kind of get myself revved up, the same way I did on my way here today. And then when I parked at work and shut my car off, I made sure that I sat there for just a moment and transitioned my mind. We're no longer at home. We're no longer worrying about what happened this morning, right? At home. We're at work, and so we're transitioning to that mindset. Midday, you're at work. You need to have a break. One mindful break. And I don't care who you are and what you do, you've got time for this. And I've said, even if you have to go to the washroom and that's where your mindful break is, you've got the time to do it. It's very, very important. So in middle of the day, at some point, step away from your screen, go for a walk. The team who work here, of course, have incredible grounds that they can go on a quick stroll around. It's absolutely beautiful here in our cemetery. But you want to, again, just breathe, observe your thoughts, just pause. And practice presence throughout the day when you're in a meeting. Whether that's a one-on-one, whether that's a group meeting. Again, that listening deeply and just making sure that you're really focused in that moment and pausing before you respond when someone's speaking to you. In the evening, again, we're focusing on our personal time now. Again, so on the way home from work, I had a practice. Again, usually music would change to something like smooth jazz, something chill, something relaxing. If I had a stressful day at work, I might need to just kind of have, again, some deep breathing. But when I parked in my garage at home, it was the same practice. Car goes off, you sit for a second. You don't jump out, grab your things, run in the house. It was an intentional moment to say, whatever happened, whatever's still on the to-do list, it needs to just get parked, just like this car, so that I can be present for my family. Weekly anchors, we talked earlier in that reading that I had, it was talking about, Monday, I'm going to start on Monday. Everything's always going to start on Monday. I was guilty of that too. When I'm ready to start a new exercise regime, I'll just start on Monday, But on Mondays, you should do a leadership check-in. Revisit your values, align your work goals, and set a mindful intention for the week. And that could be one word that you use. Some of the ones that I like, that are phrases I like, is to work smarter, not harder. Easy does it, because I can want to accomplish too many things in too short a period of time and put stress on myself, and that's stressful for others. I tattooed strength on my wrist after my divorce, because there were many days where I used to stand in front of the mirror and say, God, give me the strength, God, give me the strength. And so sometimes I can look down at that and be reminded. But you just need to have something that works for you. Wednesdays, I love that we're together on a Wednesday, midweek. It's good to get out, have some conversations, meet some people, shake things up a little bit, right? Get out of your routine. Wednesday is a great connection touch point, and I am going to ask all of you that you do this today at some point, okay? I want you to reach out to someone with no agenda. Okay, it can be another colleague, it could be a friend, it could be a mentor. It doesn't matter who it is, but at some point today, I want you to text or call or just reach out to somebody and just say, hey, how are you? You're on my mind. I do that a lot. When people pop into my mind now, I generally will reach out to them, even if it's just a quick text to say I'm thinking of you. And it's incredible how many times you do that, and the person says, oh my gosh, I was thinking of you just the other day, or, I really needed this conversation. So I encourage you to do that. I am a connector, and so for me, it's important that I do that. I'm that friend, I'm that family member that stays connected to people. And because I'm always the connector, sometimes it can feel a little bit lonely. And so when I do get a nice text or a connection from somebody, that actually makes me feel really good, because now I feel like it's being, reciprocated. Friday, I think most people do this on a Friday, that it's time to review and reset and reflect on what worked well and what didn't, and what you need to carry forward. In our company, we use a tool called Standout, and it is a method that we can check in with our direct reports, talk about our week. We can use it as a planning tool. I personally love it. I know there are some people who do not, but I am a huge fan of Standout, so don't know in your organizations if you have something that is your weekly planner and check-in. But I love it because it helps me plan. It helps me plan, it helps me see that I've accomplished tasks during the week and what are the things that I need to carry forward. And it allows me to acknowledge, right, the small wins and the large wins that I've had for the week. And of course the weekend, please engage in something joyful on the weekend, right? We need more joy in our life. So I know not everybody has the weekend off, but on your day off then, if we're not speaking about the weekend, on your day off, please do something that brings you joy, that's creative, that's fun, right? We take ourselves far too seriously. And reflect on how your personal energy is showing up in your leadership. Right? There are many times that I can look back, and hindsight's 20/20, of course, as they say, but there are many times that I can look back and remember of things I wish I would have done differently, right? And recognize, because of my self-awareness, that, wasn't probably the best way to handle things or the best way to move forward. Perhaps I reacted, in a way that wasn't the best way. But you got to take ownership of those moments. It's always important to apologize to people and sincerely apologize, right? You can tell when someone's being sincere. But all of those things are super important. Do not sit and beat yourself up over the entire weekend or over your entire day off, right? You've wasted a day. In our profession, we deal day in and day out with loss. And so we are hyper aware of the value of each day. But we still lose sight of it, don't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So even though every day that's what we're faced with, in our profession we lose sight of it. So everybody does, it's natural, but I really just want you to think about implementing some of these things, and my only ask of you as your guest today is to reach out to somebody today with no agenda. So my last slide actually is just sharing a quote that I love from Brene Brown. I read a lot of inspirational and business books, but I just wanted to share with you today, as I end my part of the presentation, a quote from Brene. And so leadership is not just about intellect. It's about the courage to lead with both your heart and your mind. So I thank you for the opportunity to be with all of you today and share just a little bit of my wisdom and my passion. And I wish you all the best for the rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shannon. On behalf of the Community Leadership Luncheon Committee, we sincerely thank you for taking the time to be here today to talk about being a mindful leader, self-awareness, being present, and being purpose-driven. I know that everyone is able to take something away from your presentation here today. I would like to take a moment to present you with just a small token of appreciation for your time here today. Thank you. Thank you, Shannon.
So just before lunch is served, we're going to invite everyone in the spirit of mindfulness just out through the double doors here. We are going to go outside for about 2 minutes, stretch a little bit, and move, get the blood flowing just before lunch begins. But we also have from Toronto Dove Release So Rodika is here. We have 2 doves that we'd like to release today, just as a reflection of mindfulness and really taking in the conversation today. Oh, sorry, we have 10 doves today. That is very mindful, very mindful. So we're going to invite everyone to please come outside. And if I can have 8 volunteers that would like to hold a dove, they'd like to come forward. Anyone would like to hold it up for the release, please go right over here.
Go for it. Would you like me to take a picture?
Very well. You can fit everybody over here.
You get the shot.
Well, it's kind of packed now. I thought we were
If you
going
can.
to open area, but it's nice.
Brave people.
Everyone is out. We're all together.
I'm so sorry.
So everyone, before we release these doves, let's just take a quick moment to think about what it symbolizes. Doves are often seen as a sign of peace, freedom, and new beginnings, and that actually ties in really nicely with the mindfulness today. When we're being mindful, we're letting go of stress, distractions, and all of the noise in our heads. We're just being present right here and right now. Kind of like these doves, free, light, and in the moment. So as we watch them take flight, let it be a little reminder to slow down, take a breath, and be fully here. Even in small moments, that kind of presence can bring a real sense of calm and clarity. So as we make our way back into the reception hall, Mediterranean-inspired cuisine today is available. So please help yourselves again if you need to use the facilities for those that know how to wash their hands. We'll head in the back. Thank you so much.
So that's not what we get this year. It'll be the first of the staff team. So please put that in the calendar and let us know. Okay, so that's the new release. Yeah, you should already be on there, but I'll make a point to. Did you get your card again? That way you're my
got better.